Hello, hello. Hey everybody, it's Kathy with Carolina Party Artists, getting ready for our Fall Grateful Journal demonstration as part of Fall Art Fest. I'm a couple minutes early. I'm not the greatest at this technology stuff, so I needed an extra minute to make sure I get in the right place. So I'll be right back with you. Let me just see if I can share it to our page. How is everybody today? Hope you're having a great Sunday. And I hope you're excited about getting a chance to learn some more about art journaling. Give me just a minute. Here we go. I need to share this page in a group. And the group name is, I think I've got it here. Almost there. If you're jumping on, tell me where you're watching from. I'm in Summerville, South Carolina, where it's hot. It doesn't feel like fall, but the calendar's telling us fall is on the way. So that's why we're doing fall arts and crafts today. Where are you from? And what's your favorite thing in fall? Okay, I'm almost there. Let's see if we can get it posting. Just one more second, guys. I think it might be just about ready. Alrighty, here we go. Hey guys, how are you? This is Kathy with Carolina Party Artists, coming to you from sunny South Carolina. Hi Sally, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. I hope you enjoy what you see today. I've got about 30 minutes to share with you a little bit about how to create your very own junk journal. That's a funny name, junk journal, but the reason it's called that is because it's made with all kinds of junk you have around the house. If you've done any kind of arts or crafts or scrapbooking, you probably have some leftover papers, or maybe just lots of school supplies or art paper from your kids. And so that's the kind of thing we're going to use in just a couple of minutes. Okay guys, let me make sure I'm in this group. It looks like I am. A little bit about me. I'm Kathy Moylan. I live in Summerville, South Carolina, and my company is Carolina Party Artists. For the last 11 years, we've been primarily face painters. That's right, painting faces, not canvas, not wood, not art journals. However, as most artists can tell you, you never do just one kind of art. Well, COVID has pretty much shut down our face painting, so right now we're doing more art in other ways. And one of the things I've always enjoyed is art journaling, Bible art journaling, just art journaling for art's sake, memory making, all kinds of fun things. So that's why I decided to share this with you today. This is a sample. You may have seen pictures of it, and I just have it tied with a little piece of twine. And inside are lots of pages made with lots of different kinds of paper. I'm going to turn my camera down now so that you can get an idea of how to do this. Thanks for jumping on, guys. I'm not going to be able to see the comments while I'm doing this or have time right now to answer questions, but please feel free to put your questions in the comments, and after the live, I will gladly go through and answer your questions. Anyhow, I'm going to turn this around in the hopes that you can see it, and hopefully it's not backwards. The cover of mine is Grateful, Thankful, Blessed. I really am very grateful for all God's done for me. Very blessed to have so many blessings from Him. This is just very true for me. Anyhow, what we're going to do is we're going to start by showing you some of the papers that you can use to make your journal. You can use paper bags, you can use scrapbook paper, and it doesn't have to be anything very specific. If you're a person that likes everything coordinated, you can even buy a paper pack that coordinates. You can use pieces of vellum that have things printed on them. I'm a big thrift store junkie, and one day I got a huge pack of these vellum envelopes, and I love using vellum, so you can cut these apart and use them. Papers from scrapbook pads, from kids' art pads, and every imaginable color and shape. Some of my favorite things to use are pages from an old hymnal or an old book. Again, my thrift store finds. One of my other favorites is graph paper. That's right. Remember that from school, guys or gals? Graph paper. It works terrific to create little places to actually journal in your books. Envelopes. They can be junk mail envelopes. This is like probably a 5x7, or no, probably bigger than a 5x7, but a mailing envelope. It's from the dollar store, so it's pretty thin. You can use a manila folder, an old manila folder. You can use papers that you have printed, designs from online. If you like things that are vintage looking like I do, this is just printed from the computer. I cut them out, and then one of my favorite things to do is to treat the edges of all my papers with distressed ink. How many of you know what distressed ink is? It's very easy. You just dab it on and go along the edges, and it makes them look burnt or old. I can use a doily as a page. How about that? That's a fun thing to do. Bet you have a pack of doilies around. Have an index card, wrapping paper, just all kinds of things that you can print out or find in coloring books, magazines, online, wherever you can get them. So if you're like me and you're a crafter, you probably have a lot of this stuff in a drawer somewhere. But this is a great way to use some of it up. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make my cover from a paper bag. That's right, a plain old paper bag. The easiest way, and I've already cut this off, sorry about the noise. I've taken a paper bag and I've literally cut the top section right off of it. It used to be on here. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Very good. But it used to be there. And, oh gosh, let me see. Give me just a second here. I'm not sure if this is working, but we'll see. Anyway, just cut a piece of the paper bag off. That's about, I'm going to say, mine is, whoop, turn the ruler around will be helpful. Mine's about 7 inches. Yep, about 7 inches from the top of the bag down. Cut down one side and it gives you one really long piece of paper, which you're then going to fold in half like this. Cut it in half. That'll give you 2 long pieces that are still too long. So you're going to fold it one more time and cut it that way. And that's going to give you 4 pieces of paper bag that you can use. Okay, what you do now is you're going to gather some other papers that you would like to use. I've gone ahead and pre-cut these so that I'm ready to go. I've chosen a heavier duty piece of scrapbook paper for my cover. It just has pretty speckles on it. I have chosen this scrapbook paper just for fun. And this one, here's one of those paper bag pages. Every one of these just needs to be folded in half so that it kind of looks like a book to be ready. Here's a piece of music from a hymn book. Another paper bag page. This is a piece of brown cardstock. And I love that vintage look, so I literally tear the edges to give it that kind of worn old look. Here's a little white paper bag. Don't ask me where it came from, but it's a great tool to use. And another paper bag, a book page, and finally one more piece of scrapbook paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these, and they're all pre-folded, but you would fold them. You'll notice that they're not all the same size, and that's completely fine because in a junk journal, not much has to be lined up perfect. They just need to all be smaller than your cover. That's the most important thing. So what you're going to do is you're going to just kind of line them up, and then you're going to use a large-eyed needle and some embroidery thread or heavy cotton thread, something like that, to sew it together, to bind it together. I just have a, whoops, the camera's backwards here. A piece of thread on this needle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this up and find the center of my book. And I'm literally going to put my thread and needle right through. By the way, I do not tie a knot in it. When I get to a page that's short, I'm going to move it over so that it's pretty much centered. I'm going to go through each and every page, and I'm sorry, I have to move this over so I can see what I'm doing a little bit. Hopefully you can still see it too. I went ahead and marked the middle of these pages to make it a little easier because it's a little nerve-wracking online. But I'm just going right through the center of each and every one of these papers that are going to become parts of my junk journal. Right through the scrapbook paper, right through everything. And let's see, where's the middle of this one? Right there. And lastly, through the cover. If I can get them lined up. Okay. When I think I have, whoops, a little bit off there. Let me come down just a tad. I want to make sure they're lined up a little bit better than that. Okay. Now my needle is coming right out the spine. And you might have to wiggle it a little bit, but you're going to make it come out and you're going to just keep a long tail. By the way, your thread needs to be about 3 times the height of your book. So you're going to leave that thread there. You're going to turn it over and you're going to go about 2 inches or so above where you came out the middle, and you're just going to do the opposite. Only instead of putting it through the pages, what I do is I lay it down and I literally pull the pages up onto the needle so that I can watch to see that I'm getting it right along those folded edges. Again, it does not have to be perfect, but you do want it lined up somewhat. Part of the fun of junk journaling is turning something that looks junky into something really interesting or something really pretty. Okay, we're getting there. A little bit more to go. A couple of more pages here. Oops, there's that paper bag. Just kind of way down in there. This is easier to do when you're not trying to do it on camera, I promise. Much easier. But I wanted you to see the process. Some people don't want to have to do this sewing method. You can put your journal together with some big like office bull clips, these kind. You can also put it together with the metal rings like you use for keys by just punching a hole. That would work as well. Let's see, now we're off track here a little bit. Whoops. Okay. All right, I'm going to pull it through. And again, you have to jiggle it and wiggle it. Be very careful you don't pull the first thread through because that would undo all the work you've already done. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to go back down that center hole. And the tricky part about this is you want to try not to catch the thread that's already in there. You want to try really hard to go through those holes without catching it. Again, I'm sort of pulling the paper up onto the needle and trying to avoid that original thread. Not the easiest thing to do if you're not a seamstress, which I am not. I'm a painter. I'm an arts and craft person. I love doing paint parties, painting canvas, painting wood, doing junk journaling, zen doodling, all those kinds of things, but sewing is just not my thing. Anyhow, let's see if we can continue to get it here. Whoops. There we go. Couple more pages, guys. Thank you for your patience. Trying really hard not to catch that while looking at it from the side here. Hopefully you get an idea of what I'm doing. I'm really hoping you can see it. Okay, right down here. And some of these pages are gone really wonky, but that's okay. Not to worry. Okay, so we're back down through the center. Again, make sure that original tail does not get pulled too far because you're going to need that to tie your knot. Okay, what you've basically done is created one stitch. I don't know if you can see that. If I put my finger under it, you've created a stitch right here. Then you got one more stitch to go. This time, you can see it better on the back. This time, instead of going this direction, we're going to go the opposite direction. I'm off the spine a little bit, but that's okay because it is a junk journal. Again, I'm going to go about 2 inches down and press hard and just pull my pages right up onto the needle. Okay, I'm not sure if we have something going on here with this. Oh, give me just 1 second. Let me check something. Hey, everybody. Nice to see you guys. So happy that you're here. Do me a favor. Let me know in the comments, please, if you can still see what I'm doing. I am not catching it on the page that I think it's supposed to be on. And I'm not sure what happened. It looks like we might have two artists going on. We'll see. Anyway, hopefully it's working. All right, so now I've come back up through my journal, and all I have to do now is put this thread under the loop or the stitch that's already there, give it a little tug to tighten it up, and tie a little knot. You want to tie it fairly tightly if you can, and you want to tie it a couple of times. And leave it to me to get all thumbs just to tie a knot. Okay, nothing fancy, just the kind of knot you would do if you were tying your shoe. Let me cut this off. It's a bit too long and it's just getting in my way. Woo, come on, scissors, you don't fail me now. All right, there we go. Everybody, I need you to drop in the comments, what is your favorite thing about fall? Is it the changing leaves? Is it pumpkin spice everything? Is it sending kids back to school? Although this year, I know for a lot of us, that's very different. Okay, we actually have now a junk journal that's been sewn together. So when I close it, I can open it, and even though they're not 100% secure in there, they are sewn together. So now the fun begins. That's kind of the tedious part. Once you have it put together like that, then you're ready to do the decorating. And again, to save time, I have pre-cut out some of the pieces. If you were on my Facebook page earlier or maybe yesterday, you may have seen a page that you can print out that has, oops, looks like this, and it had some suggestions of kinds of paper, and it has a little pattern, whoops, a little pattern for the triple stack pumpkin. You are welcome to use that. You certainly can draw it yourself, and you can absolutely draw a different design. But what I've done is cut it apart and cut 3 pumpkin shapes, whoops, in 3 different pieces of scrapbook paper. Can you see that? 2 of them I've already done the edges, and I'm just going to show you again with this distressed ink, my favorite technique. I just take this ink and just hit it along the edges. Let's see, I can do it down here. You might be able to see it, I'm not sure. It's very simple. You just take it around the edges, and it puts a little dark line, which makes it show up better against other papers, and in my opinion it looks cool. So then I'm just going to take all 3 of my pumpkins, my favorite glue, art glitter glue, thank you, and I'm going to glue the bottom one right where it belongs, this way. Sometimes the hardest part about a junk journal is deciding what kind of paper to use. I used to get really slowed down and bogged down by that, trying to make everything match and make everything a certain way. Whoops, that's the wrong one. But I have learned over time and several junk journals later that it turns out really cool if you just kind of let it go with the flow. There we go. So I've put my 3 little pumpkins in place. And again, I have pre-cut things so that it wouldn't take forever. I cut out a little stem, a fun little stem, and that's just cut out of a piece of scrap paper bag. But you could certainly use whatever you want. Glue it right on there. The next step that I've done, let me put that needle away so I don't lose it, or worse yet, knock it into the floor, because that would not be good. Hang on just a second here. Put the pin in the top of this glue. It's the only tricky part about it is you need to keep a little straight pin in it so that it doesn't dry up. Okay. The words grateful, thankful, and blessed, I really wanted those on my pumpkin, and I'm going to put them on this one too. So what I'm going to do to make them show up a little bit better is I want to mount them on a little piece of leftover brown scrap paper. So what I'm actually going to do is just go ahead and glue them onto the paper, all 3 of them, like this, and then just cut out around them, leaving a brown border at whatever size I feel like it should be, and whatever size will fit on my pumpkins. Certainly is not the only way to do this. Has anybody here done a junk journal before? Or an art journal of some sort? And if so, let us know in the comments. What did you use for your papers, your pages? Maybe what was your favorite tool to use? What was the hardest part or the most fun part for you? I just love taking all kinds of scraps and turning them into something pretty, something useful, something that other people seem to enjoy. And let's see, I think I'm going to do them in the same order. I'm just going to put glue on the back and pop that grateful on the first pumpkin. Put thankful on the second pumpkin. And you'll notice I'm doing this kind of quickly. They're probably not going to be perfectly straight, but to me, that's part of the beauty of it. You are certainly welcome to do it more carefully if that matters to you, if that's important to you. There you go. I felt like this looked a little bit plain along the top edge, so another fun tool to use are stencils and stamps. Anybody have some of those at home? I have this one set of stencils that I got years ago. They came in a little booklet like this from Recollections, and it's just full of these kind of heavy paper stencils, and they are my absolute favorite for background, especially this one. I don't know if you can see all the ink that's on there. It looks like little kind of fern leaves. All I'm going to do with this is just lay it along the top edge, oops, of my book. I'm going to take that distressed ink on my pad and just kind of smush it around. Do you like that word? Smush it. I don't think that's a southern word. I think that's just an art word. Just smush it on. This is why these stencils get so beat up, because I'm smushing it like crazy, twisting and turning. And again, it does not need to be exact. I'm just adding a little bit more interest. Let's see if you can see. Can you see those? Whoops. I keep going the wrong direction because I have this set for it. Just like that. And I'll do a little bit more over here. I think that some folks might be watching from my Facebook page, Carolina Party Artist page. That's where you can find out more information and where you can watch other videos where I'll show you more techniques over the next couple of weeks to do some of your pages, because obviously in 30 minutes we're not going to get to everything there is about junk journaling. There's also loads of people on YouTube that do a marvelous job, and I learned from a lot of them. Okay, now for the fun part inside. What I've decided is there's just too much white space here, and one of the dangers of junk journaling is that as you begin to accessorize your book, it gets thicker and thicker from all the layers. So I'm going to choose to just glue this back to back. I love this polka dot paper, and with this glue it only takes a little bit and it dries very quickly, so you have to work quickly if you're trying to get something in a certain position. Because once you've gotten it on there, you pretty much have to leave it where it is. You can't pull it up and re-stick it. That was the front, and here's the back. This will also give it a little sturdier, from, you know, those little stitches we took in the binding. By gluing the front and back, now it's pretty sturdy. I don't think it's going to fall out. Oh, I'm wiggling the table. Sorry, guys. The next page, I'm not sure yet what we're going to do. And one of the neat things I find about junk journaling, I used to try to do it in order, one page at a time. Don't worry about that. I'm going to turn to this next page, which is a page of paper bag. And I'm going to fold it back halfway. And then I'm going to fold down the top corner. Just like that. Why am I doing that? Well, just because I'm going to take my little distress ink, which I use on just about everything, guys. I'm kind of obsessed by it. And you don't have to add that at all. You can add anything you want. Just gonna run that down there a little bit. Straighten that up a little tiny bit. Okay, I'm gonna glue, no, I'm not gonna glue that one down because I am going to, sorry, let me just grab this other bag here. Again, I tried to get things prepared ahead of time so I could show you as much as possible in this little time we have. Here's a piece of graph paper that I've cut out and distressed around the edges, of course. Smushed it over the middle just a little bit. I'm going to create a journaling spot. And this is going to be a place where you can write down a memory, a scripture verse, an inspirational word, whatever it is you want to journal about. And I'm just going to put this on the inside here. And then fold it back up like that. It's just going to be kind of like in a little secret place, if you notice that. Now that looks way too plain, of course. So what I've done again ahead of time is what I call fussy cut. All it means is I had a piece of really cool scrapbook paper, and I know you can't see this on camera, but all these leaves are raised a little bit. Just got some texture to it. So one day when I had nothing else to do, I fussy cut. That means I cut out some individual leaves to be able to use them as decorations in my book. So I'm going to take one of these fall leaves and just cut it out, or sorry, put glue on it. And I'm going to put it right, let's see, put it right here on the journal page. There we go, on the back of it, I should say. And then I'm going to put this one on the inside. Again, I'm not going to have time today to show you an entire book, but I just hope you would get an idea of some of the things you could do. It's a lot of fun, and you'll see a plain paper bag pretty soon starts turning into a little work of art. There'll be lots of fun when it's journaled there. You could take a stamp and stamp some more design up here. You could just take some distressed ink. You could use stencils. You could use more scrapbook paper. Another item you could use is washi tape. Are you all familiar with washi tape? Here's some that comes in a roll. Jim Holtz, who I love dearly, his stuff is really cool, but a little bit pricey, so good old Hobby Lobby coupons. You can take this tape and stick it almost anywhere. The one thing I've learned about washi tape is if you're using it to stick something into a binder, you're going to want to glue it, even though it's sticky backed. If you're just using it as a decoration on its own, it's probably sticky enough to stay. But if you're trying to have it hold other papers or pictures into your book, I highly recommend that you add a little bit of glue to that. Anyway, let's move on just so that I can show you a couple of more things. Now, because I folded this over, it made a super short page in the book. And I want to turn that into a fun pocket. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take a, oops, let me find it here. I know I have it. Sorry, guys. The more organized you try to get, the more unorganized you feel. Okay, there it is. It's a leftover piece of that same blue polka dotted paper. I am going to line it up. Let's see. About right there should do it. And I'm going to just glue that right on. And that will extend that page out. Then I'm just going to trim it at the top so that it matches where we are. Like that, and that will make it into a larger page. Okay, the next one's a music note. Again, one way to decorate that would be to take a square of scrapbooking page, take a square, fold it into a triangle, glue that triangle right down into your book like this, just by the back section. I hope you guys can see these. It's a little bit too long, so I'm going to just trim that off at the corner. And that's going to create a little place to write right here. I'm trying to hurry, so I glued that down. If I had left that side open, I could have tucked one of these tags into it. That's okay. No telling what will be on that page. The paper bag. Do you remember the paper bag? Look there. Now it's a little pocket. You can put a tag into the pocket where you can write little notes to people. You can decorate the front of it with stamps or stencils. Here's a fun one. This is a triple pocket. This has got 1, 2, 3, and I will show you how to make one of those. It's actually very easy, made with one piece of paper, but I won't show you today. That's something you'll have to go to my Facebook page, Carolina Party Artist, to see. Glue that right on there. I took 3 different colors of yellow patterned paper. One of them is a double one, lots of space to write. Put that in the back there. Of course, the glue's not dry. And put this one in the front. Here we go, it's a triple tag pocket, I should say. There we go. So basically, junk journaling is using all kinds of papers to make something loads and loads of fun. It's a place to put memories or pictures, whatever it is you want. You can take a piece of scrapbook paper and you can just glue it on to cover half of your page. And if you just put the glue on the top and up the side, you'll create a very large pocket like this one. And into that, I can take this piece of scrapbook paper, fold it in half, and just tuck it right in. Very cool. It doesn't matter to me if it sticks out farther than the page because it's all part of this junk journal. Anyway, I hope you've gotten a little bit of a clue of what that's like. I invite you to join my page. You can text, I want to paint. I always forget this, to 42828 if you're interested and you'd like more information, or you can message me. I'd be glad to send you more details. Enjoy it. That's the main thing with junk journal. Enjoy it. Have fun. Create your own little junk journal. You can put a page of counting down the days till Thanksgiving, maybe during the month before, of things you're thankful for. Let me know in the comments, what do you think, and what is your first journal going to be? Thank you so much. And now I'm going to get off of here because it's time for the next artist. That will be Robin Perry from she is the Perky Painter. That's her company. And hopefully you will enjoy what she's going to make. I think she's going to paint something spooky for Halloween. Thanks so much, guys, for stopping in. Take care.